It was at this corner, Lemon and Wadea. By this time, my house, Alan and my house had been shot into. My baby son would have been shot in half. I never understood it. I was sitting right there on the bed through a sheer curtain where you could have shot me into. You could have really got me rather than trying to hurt my family. And I can remember it was a child, 6th grade, that told my son and my other son, but my oldest son, Alan, tell your mom and them be at home. The community is going to welcome them to the community. They said we was the first black to move on Pisgah Road in Mableton. Well, we got down. We were there at 6:30 that night, and our neighbor lived across the street. He was a former police officer. Our neighbor told us he told us how far we was moving from. Gave us our first gun. I didn't want a gun. Saw who shot into our house. He always sit in this window. You know, it really didn't matter. God, in the name of Jesus, today, I wouldn't take nothing from my journey now. God, if I had to do it over again, I would do it over again. Whatever I've gone through, if I had to go through it again, I would do it again. A man told me once, it's about the mass of people. It's about the people. More than Mary, more than Alan, more than our children have gone through. Others went through. But standing at that corner in the back of me, I got a chance, thanks to Robert Hightower, who was the chief of police. They thought I was crazy to want to meet with the Ku Klux Klan leader. I just had one question. I didn't have a lot of questions. I just wanted to know what you shooting my house for. To hurt my family. And I can remember he said, he was a prominent doctor. They aren't wearing sheets no more. They're dressed up in suits. He said, and I kind of believed him, Miss Cater, I remember that day so well. He came, he didn't have on a suit coat. I think Bob Hightower had police on every building out here, making sure that nothing happened. And if he didn't have a Mac Eppinger, Oscar, a Booney Kristen, the men made sure that I was safe. But that was a destiny that had to be. I asked him, well, what was the purpose of shooting into my house? What was all that about? I could remember when we desegregated the schools in 1965. I remember when my sister was the first African American to graduate, only one, from Pebblebrook High School in 1969. I remember when we walked into Lindley, Marjorie, Cynthia, me, as the first black students to desegregate Lindley Middle School. And J.B. Stoner was there. Governor Maddox was there. And they had protection all around us. I remember when we had to fight to not let them close down Harmony Leland Elementary School. They always came to us for fights. and we were always willing. We didn't put up our dukes. We put the Lord before us, and he was mighty in battle. And I just wanted to know, right at that corner, back to Lemonade and Waddell, why did you shoot in my house? I had met with David Dukes down in New Orleans. He was supposed to be the leader. What was the purpose of shooting into our house? We had just signed the fair share agreement. October 1983. I remember that morning, October the 13th, 1983. I walked into a meeting in that building right over there. In the meeting, they said they had sent a letter, especially to us supervisors, saying that unless you die, you better be at this meeting. And they had announced that the NAACP said that they were going to boycott the bank, come in with balls, bats, chain themselves to the door. Well, I was the chairman of the group. I had no knowledge of nothing they was talking about. Half of Cobb County board of bankers was in that meeting. It was the last meeting that I was called into, the night after my house got shot into. We had signed the fair share agreement. First in the nation. I wrote it. Oscar and Dover helped me critique it. Mr. Flanagan, L.R. Bird, who was over the economic and development out of North Carolina. I raised my hand and I asked him, is this what I'm in a meeting for? To talk about a Susan B. Anthony protest? Why am I here? Did you know it was on national TV my house was shot into on last night? I had gotten a letter by that morning from the U.S. Justice Department in Washington, D.C. The NAACP presidents. Oh, yes. Earl Shinholster, National Board. But I just needed to meet with him. I just needed to face my monster and ask, why did you shoot into my house of all houses? And I can remember looking at him with that white shirt, no undershirt. You could see directly through his shirt. No suit coat. Shook my hand. I shook his hand. I didn't want the guys up on us. I wanted to talk to him by myself. We talked. He said, we didn't shoot into your house. That's what he told me. I told him I just wanted to look at you face to face and find out why, if you did. So listening to everything, I could tell you with the Marietta 8, when that case went on, I can tell you how the cops started, when we went into a prayer breakfast instead of a court of law. I can tell you, oh my God, there's so much stuff that went down, so many things that happened. The girls that got killed down in Mableton, the mother and the two daughters out in Powder Springs. Oh God, so many battles. So much work. In schools, on the jobs, working with the Chamber of Commerce. Lord, I wouldn't take nothing from my journey now. Today, November the 15th, 2018. God, my eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Some may say that's putting it a little bit high. We're going to see God's glory on earth as it will be in heaven. I believe that. We're going to have some things down here, not just in heaven. When I saw Judge West, I hadn't been up here in a minute, and I had to go look for somebody in the courtroom. When I saw him on that bench, went back to the courtroom where I was, and they told me they swore him in. Randy asked me, where were you doing this swearing in? I said, nobody didn't tell me. You know, it ain't a church. Deanne, we ought to be having a reception for him. The first, not the second. If the history was correct, God, I don't mind standing out here. I can go roll my hair over again. I don't mind standing in your reign, because you have rained on us goodness and mercy. We've needed a black person on the bench. Thank you, Judge Tain Kell, and the Superior Court judges for your choice. Thank you. Thank you for goodness and mercy.